morning, everyone. It is dark 30, about 6:15, 6:30, somewhere in that area. Been up since 5, kind of took my time getting everything ready. It's been raining on and off all night. A little shower here, a little shower there. Today is supposed to be mostly clear with a chance of thunderstorms in the afternoon. That might have changed. When you're in the mountains, the weather changes daily, heck, hourly. It's going to be a big day, though. Going over Iron Mountain first, then Roan High Knob, Roan High Knob. And then I believe it's Round Bald, followed by Jane's Bald, followed by Grassy Bald, and Little Hump and Hump if I get that far. I would have to really be cooking to get that far today. I'll probably get to about Round Bald or Jane's Bald, somewhere in that area. That'll be about 22 miles. But you know me, I do it as it comes. So, see what the day brings. You can definitely tell there's snow up there, but how thick that snow is or how deep that snow is, I have no idea. So, and ice could be a factor as well. Obviously, if there's thunderstorms, that's a factor. So, just gonna keep pushing through and keep grinding and keep climbing those mountains today, and see how far I can get. It's going to be a world of difference from the last time I was in the Roan Highlands. Blizzard-like weather, up to 12 inches of snow, 50-mile-per-hour winds, 20 below zero wind chill at times. It was a brutal day. It's going to be a world of difference today. And I'm living for this day, man. This is one of the most exciting things, or one of the things I was most excited about the last few weeks, is getting here and having a different experience and seeing, it in a different way, so to speak. So that's going to be awesome, because this is obviously a different journey this time, and I can't wait to see it. But it's going to be a great day. I'm glad you all are along with me for the ride. Let's live it. Let's live this life and let's conquer. Hope you're going to have a conquering day as well. In fact, I know you will. So let's get her done. I had a pretty decent sleep last night. Got good rest. Like I said, kept waking up every couple hours with rainstorms and such. I don't know if they were waking me up or if I had just woken up and heard the rain, because it wasn't loud. There was no thunder or anything like that. But one problem I was having, which was kind of weird, I'm really in touch with my body. I really know like the different pains and aches and what they are usually, and so forth. Like, if I'm having muscle cramps or spasms in my legs, that's a certain kind of feeling. It causes pain, but it's a different kind of pain. And I know that that's, dehydration and, or I just, my muscles are tight, I didn't stretch or something like that. But I was having some leg pains last night I just wasn't familiar with. It was like really deep in the legs. And it was pretty severe pain at times. I mean, vitamin I, ibuprofen, wasn't even helping it. And, but then it was weird. It would just go away and then it'd come back. So I'm not really sure what was going on there. With osteoporosis, one of those symptoms or secondary sicknesses, if you will, that can go along with that is something called osteoarthritis. I'm not super familiar with osteoarthritis to know exactly what that is, but or what it feels like and so forth. I mean, obviously arthritis, it's caused by weakening of the bones, but I don't know a lot of in-depth information on it. But it could have been something like that, or it could have been something as simple as like the barometric pressure changing with the rain that was happening last night. I don't really know, but I knew as soon as I got walking I'd be feeling great, and of course I am, because it wasn't pain from walking, it wasn't pain from hiking. I could tell that it was something different, like inside the legs, like the bones or something. So I'm thinking I'm leaning more towards the barometric pressure changing and it causing, but of course that could also go with, if it was a form of arthritis or something, that would definitely cause that to flare up. So that was the only issue I had last night. Everything else was good rest, but that leg pain kind of was a bummer, but at least it's temporary and it would go away, and it's feeling great now. So I'm gonna keep on going no matter what's going on with the body today. Obviously got goals to meet and things to do today. I don't know if you heard that coyote in the background there just a few seconds ago. I thought it was a dog at first, but then I heard a couple howls that were a little softer, so definitely a coyote. But anyway, continuing on and shaking a leg, so to speak, and putting that pain behind me. Wow, look at that shot. You can see the pine or evergreens up at the top there. That's the summit of Unaka that I climbed down yesterday. And for those of you who are new and didn't see yesterday's video, I apologize if I am pronouncing that wrong. I've just heard it a couple different ways and I'm not really sure what the right way is. But that is gorgeous from back here. When you're up close, it looks completely different. You just kind of see the top hump because you climbed up most of it before you see that. And it's absolutely stunning. Standing on the summit of Iron Mountain. It's all socked in with trees. Some overcast skies today, but you could still see the other mountains in the distance. And they're beautiful. So Iron Mountain is in the bag. There's no sign at the summit of Iron Mountain. That is just according to the Far Out app that I use for navigation. Showed that I was on the summit. But if I look at a different map, it shows that I'm coming up to a small summit called Piney Bald. And then the next summit after that, which is like 2/10 of a mile from here, is the summit of Iron Mountain. It's a confusing little area because I thought I was on like 3 different summits in the last 2 miles. It goes up and then it looks like it all goes down. You'll go a distance after going down and then you go up again. And they all seem like smaller mountains. And so I think they're just up and downs, all part of Piney. And then Iron Mountain is its own little separate mountain that's, a little distance from Piney. But I don't know if that was the highest point, or this little section here that's 0.2 miles is the highest point. So I am going to look at that when I get there to make sure that I was on the summit when I celebrated it and put it in the bag. If not, I'm going to put it in the bag again. That would be a first for me to have the same mountain put in the bag twice in the same day. But we shall see. But it looks like I'm coming up to Piney Bald, not Piney Knob. I don't know why I keep calling it Knob, but Piney Bald here in just a short distance. And I'm glad it was on the one map because I feel that I'm summiting quite a few mountains that I don't even know about. I know I've called a few of them out because they've been obvious, but there's other ones that you go up and And then it just goes straight down, and you're like, I think it's a summit, but I don't really know for sure. It could just be part of another mountain, and it's not the highest point of that mountain. But sometimes it's just obvious. So I'm sure there's a lot of other mountains that will be on this trail that I know Virginia has quite a few unnamed mountains that doesn't show up on a map. So there's going to be quite a few that I just don't know about, but they're still in the bag, even if I don't call them out. Standing on the summit of Piney Bald. Again, socked in with trees. Right over there was where the Far Out app showed Iron Mountain, and it's definitely quite a bit higher, 100, 200 feet, and then it drops down to this, and then it drops down again. So I think that both maps were correct. They just, one of them had them in the wrong order. That's the way it looks. Here in about 2/10 of a mile, I will see if it still keeps descending, then that was definitely the summit of Iron Mountain there. But right now, that's in a bag, and Piney Bald is what I'm on. And you know what? Piney Bald is in the bag. As you can see, it has kept on descending, so they were called out correctly. One was the Iron Mountain summit, and the other one was Piney Bald, even though it wasn't very bald. Plenty of trees up there to block the views, but 2 summits in the bag so far today. A little bit of rain coming down right now, but not much. It's been doing that all night last night. It would rain, then be done in like a minute. This one started getting a little harder, so I took my pack off. I was going to get my rain jacket on. I wasn't going to put the cover on the backpack because I have that on the inside right now, covering everything at the top, because unless it just becomes like a heavy downpour that lasts for a while. But I figured it wouldn't last long. With like, man, it's getting heavier and it's lasting a little longer than the other ones. I got my rain jacket. As soon as I took my backpack off, got the rain jacket off, or rain jacket out of the pocket, it quit. And now it's just like a little sprinkle here and there. Like, okay, so this is going to be one of those days where I'm going to be walking like this most of the day. And every once in a while, I'm going to think I need the rain jacket, and we'll get the rain jacket, then I don't need it. I don't like those take the pack off, put the pack on days. Waste too much time, so I might just walk just like this all day long until I get to where I'm going today. But you can probably hear it a little bit. They're bigger sprinkles, more like a spring. Actually, it's starting to come down a little harder now. More like a spring rain that will be happening today, I believe, bringing in that nice warmer spring air. I ended up giving up and putting the rain jacket on. It kept going back and forth, and I was like, man, I'm getting too wet. So I'm just going to take my base layer off, keep my t-shirt on, put the rain jacket on, and keep it on until I know for sure there's no rain for a while. That sun keeps trying to peek through, and I love it. It's definitely making it warm out here, nice and warm. Cozy warm, not bad warm. A lot of elevation today, so that warm sun is going to make me sweat for sure. So I didn't want to keep the other layers on, especially underneath the rain jacket. So what I've been thinking about for the last 30 minutes, pretty much nonstop, is at 19E, at the place where I'm going to stop on the way down, is possibly, and most definitely to me at least, one of the best breakfasts on the trail. And right now the name slips my mind. Mountain something bed and breakfast. They have a hostel in front and then a bed and breakfast in back, and they allow the hikers in the hostel to have the breakfast when they serve it. And I'll show you on the video. But the thing is I don't need to be thinking about that. I mean, it's insane what they cook up. It's amazing. That's all I can say. Wait till you see it. Show you on video. But it won't be tomorrow because I'll get there after breakfast. It'll be the next day when I get the breakfast. Most likely. Unless something happens where I just feel all energetic and end up pushing through everything today, which would get me in there tonight at dark. And it could happen. You never know. I've done weirder and crazier things. Like last time I was out here, 29-mile day in a blizzard. It won't be a blizzard today, but it'll be more than 29 miles from where I camped last night. So try not to think about it because I still am about, probably about 26 miles out from there. I don't need to be torturing myself with thinking about all that great food. Standing on the summit of Little Rock Knob. Absolutely gorgeous views from thousands of feet up. On that side is forest. On this side is a vista with wide open views and straight down. It is absolutely gorgeous even on a cloudy day. And Little Rock Knob is in the bag. First substantial snow I've seen today on trail. And substantial isn't really that much. Half an inch maybe. It's slushy though, so this could have been ice that is melting and becoming slushy, which I was really hoping was going to be the case, even though I got those micro spikes in Irwin. If I don't have to use them, I'm not going to complain. But I'll probably have to use them up in New England somewhere or something, but if I don't have to use them down here, I will be happy. But only about 4,800 foot up right now. Most I've been in the last 2 days was 5,200. Today I will be up to 6,200, so could be a different story there. Really depends. Actually, it depends on the side of the mountain, you know, as far as snow melt or sun hitting the snow and melting the ice and snow, but it also depends on something else when it comes to Roan. And I remember, well, there's a lot of rhododendron tunnels, so there's a lot of sections that are covered where the sun wouldn't even hit them, no matter what side of the mountain on. So I'm sure I'll be dealing with some some snow and ice in those areas as well. But as you can see, that was a very small section that was on the trail. Some of it looked like very much like ice that is melting. A couple slick spots. Obviously, you're still dealing with snow and slush, so it's going to be a little slick, but nothing bad. Hoping that keeps up. Making good time so far today. It's almost noon, and at 12 miles right now. 3 summits in. I'm not sure the elevation, but I believe it's around 3,000 or a little more. So that's about half of what the elevation will be today, and the miles could be half, might not be half. It just really depends if I keep going or not, or if I set up camp. And that's going to depend on a lot of different factors, but at the end of the day, it's just going to depend on what I decide to do at the last minute. Because I can always change my mind at the last minute. I have been known to do such things. I mean, seriously, why can't they just bring me that breakfast right here, right now? I'll eat it here. It's fine. Everything's going to be fine. Still climbing and climbing and climbing. Like I said, it's a lot of elevation today. And this is the big part right here, about 2,600 I almost said miles, 2,600 feet of elevation, about 4 or 5 miles. I don't know if you can see those mountains there through the trees. And this will get me to the top of Roan High Knob. I couldn't remember the last part of it. Roan High Knob, which is about 6,200 feet of elevation. Have passed quite a few seniors, and I am only saying seniors because they are all 65, 70 or older. And one of the gentlemen said, "You're going to be hitting a lot of old people on your way up that's coming down." And of course, me, I had to say, let's get this straight right now. I'm not hitting any of them. Of course, he laughed pretty hard at that because, well, he thought I was funny at least. Whether you do or not, no, I'm totally joking. But he wasn't lying, man. I probably passed 20 or 30 people coming down this mountain, and I'm sure there's even more. It's awesome seeing people living life and taking it all in on a nice, mild, wet day at the Roan Highlands. Hey, Rocks. How are you? You come here often? Oh, you want me to sit and talk for a second? Oh, I don't mind if I do. I sat on that rock for maybe 5 seconds. Didn't really need a break. I was a little out of breath because I had just eaten a bunch of food while hiking uphill. And if you've never done that before, try it sometime. It's fun. It takes all your air away as you're climbing up, and you're like by the time you stop. So I had to eat a donut stick still, so I decided to sit on that rock and scarf it down, and that takes about 2 bites or 3 bites, thus 5 seconds. And then moving on, getting up high, about 5,200 feet right now. You can see, well, you might not be able to see it, but I could see it, the mountains in the distance with the haze. Could be some great views coming up after Roan. Might be able to see some around Roan, but soon after Roan, when I get to the Balds, things open up and become glorious. Nice rock formation here. You can tell that this part of the trail was icy as a couple days ago. Not now. Melted and becoming slushy. And I'm hoping everywhere, all the way to the top of the highest point of this ridge is that way. That way I don't have to deal with the ice. But of course, then you get to this really nice, thick, dark mud, which is really slick. Not as bad as it was around Big Bald, but still slick. Still need to take your time and watch your step. I think about 2 miles from the summit on Roan, about another 1,000 feet to go. Standing on the summit of Beartown Mountain. I love that name. This isn't even shown on Far Out. I had to see this on my other app, but I knew I was at the top of a summit because it's straight up and then goes straight down. But look at those views right there. Those are the humps. The Balds coming soon. But Beartown Mountain is in the bag. Magically changing right before my eyes. After coming down from Beartown Mountain, it becomes that flat area, which is pretty much the only flat area I've ran into in the last several miles. And now we're coming into these pines evergreens, and as we climb that last 1,000 to get up to Roan. It's becoming beautiful, more beautiful I should say, every step, even though it's cloudy. That wind is starting to kick up a bit. Look how dark that looks. It's awesome. I love the deep dark forest. A little icier here, but still starting to melt. That's pure ice. But a lot of slushy parts so you can step on, but definitely icy. Not quite as icy as that though. Still got a couple 100 feet till I'm to the highest point, and that will be at Roan. I come to another summit before then, but I don't know, it depends on how. This is just a part that's really hidden right now, so once I get to a part where the sun's hitting, it'll be more like that, just real slushy. But obviously I'm going to put spikes on if it continues to be too icy here. Continuing on. Standing on the summit of Cloudland Mountain. It's not even listed on Far Out again, but yet it is listed as a view, as a spot where the Cloudland Hotel site was. Right here, elevation 6,150. First 6,000 footer of the day. And actually, just noticed between these trees, there's a little meadow out here. And right there is where the hotel in like early 1900s was. Or I guess. I guess it was. I don't think they would just have this for something that was an idea, so I'm sure it was a hotel there. So I don't know if people walked up here or what, but really the only thing I wonder is, did they have breakfast? But Cloudland Mountain is in the bag. Actually came up about another 1/10 of a mile, and right here's the ruins. Right over there is like a little section of fireplace that's still left, and you see some remnants of some other things, and then over there like kind of like a brick wall type of thing. Those beautiful mountains there in the background. So right here is where Cloudland Hotel was. So I obviously have no idea what I'm talking about. That grassy opening was where the hotel was, I guess. But here on the trail, about another 1/10 or 2/10 maybe of a mile down as it starts descending before going up Roan, there's the fireplace right there. I thought that was the fireplace out there. Maybe it was a fireplace. Maybe they had two fireplaces. But this one's a little more intact. It's kind of cool. So even though I said I'm going down from Cloudland Mountain, and then before I start going up Roan High Knob Summit, they're very close to each other. It's not like a lot of other mountains around here where you have a big gap and you go down 1,000 feet and then start climbing another 1,000 feet. They're very close. You go down a little bit, maybe 100 or 200 feet, and then rise up like an extra additional 100 feet on top of that to get to the summit of Roan. It's the highest point on this, oh goodness, it's slipping my mind right now, but mountain range, kept wanting to call it a ridge, but mountain range, and being really careful right now. Of course, right now I'm going under this big old branch, blow down type of thing, but most of this has become slush. There were a couple spots, maybe 1/10 or 2/10 of a mile that was straight ice. I took a little detour around that, up around the trees, and I still slipped coming down, even though that was more snow. As long as you find the slushy stuff, or stuff that's starting to melt, you could get some traction or snow on top of it. But yeah, there was just a couple switchbacks where it was dripping down from the rocks and freezing, and that part hadn't started melting yet. But for the most part, it's okay. Now I am getting ready to go up 100 or 200 feet here to Roan. And if I remember right, that's all enclosed. Wow, right here, it's almost 6-7 inches of snow, just in that one spot. A lot of drifting there, I guess, probably. But I don't know what that's going to be like, or on the descent from Roan into Carver's Gap. See how that is. That's where I really heard the rumors a couple days ago that it was real icy. So it might be melting. Same situation as here. You could definitely tell this was ice. So anyway, got a lot more summits to go today. Roan, and then probably at least a couple balds before the day is over. This is a conquering day, if I say so myself. Good grief. I found Bigfoot. That's like 6 or 7 sizes bigger than mine. I'm a size 11. Wow. Good thing Bigfoot's going the other way. Standing at the summit of Roan High Knob, the highest summit of this range, and the last 6,000 footer until New Hampshire. And it feels good. What a beautiful day. Perfect temperature. I'm in short sleeves. The cool snow on the ground coming up to cool you down as you're sweating climbing. Whew. It's marked by this shelter here, this log cabin shelter for inclement weather. It feels good to be on top of Roan High Knob, and Roan High Knob is in the bag. There's Roan from the north side as I'm climbing Round Bald. I come out of this forest here, back on climbing the bald. I mean, I'm climbing it the whole time, but this is the part where it opens up again. And that's right there, saying hello. Hello. Standing on the summit of Round Bald. Beautiful 360 views. I'll get some close-ups of those for you. Looks like there used to be a post here marking the spot for the summit. The first of 5 balds, I believe. But the first one's all I care about right now. And Round Bald is in the bag. This is Little Hump, and that's Hump Mountain, which I crossed earlier. That's what I go to next. This is looking east into North Carolina. Remember I said the trail kind of hugs Tennessee and North Carolina. Right on the border here. And that is Mount Mitchell. First time I've actually been able to recognize it. Someday I'm going to be up there on top of you, Mount Mitchell. Just saying. Next. The views are just out of this world in this area. Oh my goodness. So fortunate to be able to see this and to be able to share it with y'all. North Carolina is freaking gorgeous right now. It doesn't even look real. Wow. standing on the summit of Jane. I'm standing on the summit of Jane Bald. Beautiful 360 views once again on this miraculous, spectacular, beautiful, out of this world day. And Jane Bald is in the bag. So before you all think I'm more crazy than what I really am, Jane is our smallest dog. She has selective hearing and definitely likes to sleep through my videos. I know, rude. So I figured if I called her name a couple of times, she might wake up and realize that I'm on her mountain. Or she might just pick her head up and go right back to sleep. Or she might not wake up at all. Who knows? But my beautiful wife, hello beautiful wife, I miss you. And our youngest dog, our retriever, Charlie, always watches the videos. So I don't know why Jane doesn't. I guess she has better things to do. Fine. Everything's gonna be fine. One more look at North Carolina's mountains right now. I don't mind if I do, because that's heavenly right there. It's hard to beat that look. I'm telling you that right now. And for my 9th summit of the day, Grassy Ridge Bald is in the bag. There's a lot more I could have showed you about this area I hiked today. Obviously, I hiked a lot longer than what this video is. But it is just nonstop beauty no matter where you go, even though it was rainy and gray in the beginning of the day. It's just nonstop. It's hard to pick a favorite on the trail. When people ask me, "When you had a favorite section?" It's like there's certain ones that just the views were killer on that day. But there's so many of them, and this is up there. It's way up there. It was just nonstop beauty, walking across the sky. But I'm setting up camp soon, and I'm done for the day. Not as tired as I am hungry, but I am tired too. 23.5 miles, almost 6,000 of elevation, and 9 summits. Yes, 9 summits. My best day of all time. By far, by 3 actually. I've had 6 a couple times. I've been wanting to get that 7. That's ice. That one wasn't slushy, but I've been wanting to get 7. And today I got even 2 more than that. So it's been a great day of accomplishment. I feel great. 9 summits in the bag. It's time to go set up camp. Change my socks because they're soaked. Eat some dinner. And get up and do it all over again tomorrow. Live life.